Alright guys, it's time to start learning about files, and of course we already know why files are useful, because right now, with the knowledge that we have in our brains, what we can do is we can create a cool program to, I don't know, like convert like dollars to euros or something, and we can run it and output it to the user. However, whenever the user closes their programs, that data is deleted forever. So it would be nice if we had a way to store the data that our program created, even not only when they close their program, but even when they shut off their computer, they could come back to it. So that's why files are useful, because we can store data that either our program creates or just needs to access. So the first thing I want to do before I start talking to you guys about how to create files, how to read them, how to add crap to them, is basically this. There are two different types of files that we're going to be working with, or working with files in two different types of ways, should I say. The first one is called sequential access files. And this is pretty much data that we need to create in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The other type of file, actually I'll write this down. Sequential means in order, and we're also going to be working with random access files, and this pretty much means that we can store data all over the place. It doesn't need to be in any specific order. Doesn't make a lot of sense right now, but it will in like 2 tutorials, exactly what these types of files are. So the first thing I want to do is just show you guys the easy one, a sequential access file. So let's go ahead and create a basic file in C. So the first thing that we always need is a file pointer. And it's pretty much a way to keep track of where we are in our file. Pretty much saying, do you want to, start writing text at the beginning, the end, the middle? Well, we need a file pointer to keep track of pretty much where we are, like I said, in our file. So in order to create that, write the name file, all in caps, pointer, because it's a file pointer, and just name anything you want, F pointer. So pretty much you always need these two parts, and then you can name your file pointer anything you want. A lot of people name them FP, but I'll name it F pointer so you guys can easily see what's going on. So now we need to open a file to point to, or pretty much use a file. Now there are a bunch of different things that we can do with files. We can write text or create a file, and I'll talk to you guys about the different modes real quick. Now whenever creating a file or writing it for the first time, we use the keyword or the letter W. Whenever we have a file that already exists on our computer and we just want to read information from it, we use R, so W for write, R for read. And whenever we have a file that's created and we want to add to the end of the file, so pretty much add more crap to the file, we use A. A means append or add more crap. So obviously we didn't have any files that we created yet. We can just read, I don't know, find a file on my computer, but let's go ahead and create one first. And not you, frickin' internet. Habit. So how do we create a file? Well, the first thing we need is our file pointer. Pretty much anything we're going to be doing in files, we're going to use this file pointer and set it equal to this. F open, and this open allows us to open a file and do something with it. So what we need to do is open a file in pretty much write to it. In other words, add text to it, create it. So the first parameter this takes is what is the name of the file that you want to open, aka create. Now I'm just going to name mine bacon and make this a basic text file. Now the reason that I had this window open was to show you guys. This is where my program is on my computer, and if you just write bacon.txt, we're going to be creating a text file in the same directory. So as you guys can see, there is no bacon text file right now. We're going to create it. So open bacon.txt, and since it doesn't exist yet, we need to write it. In other words, W. So what this basically does is it now opens your file bacon.txt, and if it doesn't exist, it's fine. It's going to create it for you, and it's going to say, okay, I am now ready to write crap in here. In other words, add text to the file. So in order to write stuff in a file, you need a different type of a print statement. It's actually printf, and this is going to look very familiar. Whenever you would just print stuff on your screen with printf, the function fprintf prints it to a file. Probably the easiest thing we ever learned in our life. Now this actually takes a couple parameters, and by couple I mean two. It's really easy. The first one is your file pointer. And right now, this is just at the beginning of your file. So let me open up Notepad. So again, what your computer is seeing right now is pretty much this, a blank cursor at the beginning of a file that it's going to be bacon.txt. So the next parameter it takes, just like print, is basically what do you want to print or what do you want to write to your text file. And of course, the only thing we can write, I love cheese. And then we can put it on a new line, just like before, and end that. I'll give you a little space so you can see what's going on. So basically, if we just run both of these lines, then it's going to open a file, and since it isn't created yet, it's going to create it for you. We don't need to do it on two separate lines. Pretty freaking cool. And once it's open, it's just going to write something in it. Now, this is actually going to work perfectly, but the one other thing I want to talk to you guys about is just housekeeping stuff, and that is fclose. Whenever we're done with a file pointer, we're going to close it, and this just frees up any memory. It says we're done with this, give that memory back to the computer, you can have your resources. It's just good programming practice. So let's run this and check it out one more time. We don't have any bacon.txt file right now, so I'm going to run this. Okay, nothing displayed, but check it out. If I reopen this, oh, I now have a bacon text file right there. And it has, let's just say 15 bytes in it. So if I open this with Notepad, it says I love cheese. Boom, check it out. What we just did is we created an entire file with C. How awesome is that? Now, I want to point something else out. First of all, as you can see, whenever that little console opened, we closed it out, our file still exists. So this is a way that we can save data even when we close our program. Another thing is this little bit of information. Say we run this program again and we write bacon is good. Well, with this W mode, this write, what happens is it says, okay, this is pretty much creating a new file. So if you run this program again, since we already have a bacon.txt file, I'm going to say, okay, delete that old one and create a new one with this. So it runs it again, but now check it out. It says, okay, your file has been modified. Do you want to reload it? Yes. It now says bacon is good. So remember, with W, whenever you run your program more than once, it overwrites the old file since it pretty much is always creating it from new. And if you guys want to know how to add stuff on to the end of your file, like you might have expected, I'm going to be showing you guys that in the next couple of tutorials. But for right now, this is how you open, aka create a file. This is how you add text to it. And this is just programming practice, how to close it, free up some memory, and now we're good to go. So in the next couple of tutorials, what I want to do is show you guys, now that we have a file created, how to read from it, how to add on crap to the end of it, and also how to work with those things called random access files. It's going to be freaking sweet. I'll see you then.